So I remember even when I was in college as an undergrad, I was English lit major. I had no problem like critiquing and studying Milton and Chaucer and Shakespeare, and I loved doing it. I loved getting into the text and trying to dig in to understand what the passages were saying. But when it came to the Bible, I remember there being the course on the Bible as literature, and I remember like just staying clear from that class, like, oh, we don't treat the Bible like that. We do not treat the Bible like that. And now I wish if I can go back in time, what a great opportunity, because it could have exposed me to a different way of looking at the Bible. But I was wondering maybe if you can address maybe that resistance that some of us might have, no matter what tradition we come from, the resistance. And Dr. Levine, like I like the phrase you used, the word you used about being disoriented. Like for those that are feeling disoriented or afraid to kind of expose ourselves to different viewpoints, maybe some encouragement.
I start by noting that God gave us brains, and that to be told, oh no, you shouldn't ask those questions or don't go there, suggests that God somehow needs protection. So we're going to protect God by putting up all these fences. God doesn't need the protection, right? God's doing fine. What we need to do is actually engage with this text. And if the text only means what somebody else tells us it means, and then we actually read it and there's a disjunct, then we may be tempted either to turn ourselves into neurotic knots trying to make something fit that doesn't fit, or we'll chuck the whole thing and say, I can't believe it. What Pastor so-and-so told me when I was 6 doesn't make any sense. So let me get rid of the entire Bible and I'll go be a Buddhist. Not that there's anything wrong with being a Buddhist. So begin by asking those questions. Jesus' disciples ask him questions. That's what you're supposed to do if you're a disciple. Rabbi's disciples ask the rabbis questions, and then they get various answers depending upon circumstances. The Bible is not a one-size-fits-all document. It can't be. So one of the things we do in the book is try to pull out some of those questions that people have been asking over the centuries. When the Bible says, don't kill, using the King James language, thou shalt not kill. Well, what does that mean? In war, in self-defense? How about animals? How about plants? What happens if you do? So the Bible necessarily asks questions. The parables are designed to provoke questions rather than to provide all the answers. And if you look seriously through Christian history, through Jewish history, even if you take Protestant history, you take one denomination of Protestantism, whether it's Calvinists or Lutherans or Methodists, as you start looking through the history, it turns out that what Calvin said is not necessarily what the Presbyterian Church down the street is saying, or what Wesley said is not necessarily what First Methodist is proclaiming today, because stuff changes as science changes, as sociology changes, as our circumstances change. Today, we're asking questions about the Bible regarding immigration. And there's lots of stuff in the Bible about immigration, but people 30 years ago hadn't been asking those questions. We're asking questions about slavery and about the translations. Is Mary the handmaid of the Lord, King James Version, or is she the slave of the Lord, which is what the Greek actually says? So the Bible will always raise new questions. Why? Because new questions are occurring to us, and then people who are interested in the Bible will go back and say, what new information am I seeing in that interaction between me and the text?
Hey, thank you so much for checking out this video clip from the Dogado podcast. To get more videos like this, simply subscribe here on YouTube. You can also download the full episode of each show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. Take care.